Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Happy Small Business Saturdays to you. Hopefully everybody is having a great morning already to start off your weekend. I am excited to be here and to be chatting with you guys today. And you heard from my son, Lewis. He's actually sitting right outside the office there. So he may make a pop in. He hasn't decided yet when and if that's going to happen. But I know I'm excited to see him. So exciting stuff there. So to start us off here, I guess the one thing I want to mention and comment to you guys, and if you're tuning in live, certainly post a comment and say morning and let's get involved in this conversation together. I learned as much from you guys as hopefully you're learning from me. And I know I've been spending a lot of time lately on kind of the 30,000 foot view stuff. You know, I'm personally in that stage of my life where I'm really exploring some big picture kind of things, you know, the law of attractions, the 7 habits. I'm reading that book right now. Talked a lot about defining our why. Cool. Good morning. Hello from the Apparel Decorators Cruise. That's still awesome to me. I'm so glad you guys do that. One of these days I'm going to have to check that out and be part of that. So very cool. Looking forward to seeing you in San Diego coming up here soon, as I mentioned in a comment earlier. So back to what I was talking about real quick here. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I'm going through. I'm developing my strengths. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, and kind of finding the why and all of that kind of stuff. So I know I've spent a lot of time kind of discussing those topics, that 30,000 view kind of topics that we've had here a lot lately. But I also want to make sure that we're covering the nuts and bolts stuff too. We've talked a little bit about SEO not too long ago and things like that. But the nuts and bolts are important as well. We need to keep growing. We need to get our business going. We need it to keep going. We need it to bring in more customers, and we need it to do all these things. So, you guys have recommended this particular topic. I think came from Jerry Dahlheimer, and so hopefully Jerry's able to tune in at some point here. So I'd love for those ideas to keep coming. So anything you want to have specifically talked about, feel free to comment. Feel free to let me know. All those kinds of things. So here's my webpage, so you can connect with me over there, or maybe you want to connect with me via email. There's my email address, Aaron@Montco Consulting. However, comments are always great too. Right here on Facebook is a fantastic place to interact. So keep those ideas coming. Thank you guys so much. And really excited to talk about this today, actually. So I think it's a good overview piece that we need to touch on. But before I do that, I want to, sorry, I'm kind of looking around my camera here to make sure I catch everything that I want to talk about today. Excuse me. So before I dive into that, I do want to, and the sound is off again. Gonna have to figure that out. All right. Before we dive into that, I just want to give a shout out to Dan Vincent of Kaleo Coaching. Kaleo Coaching, I guess, is the more appropriate way. So he was on the show on the 12th of January and talked to us about finding our strengths and stuff like that. And I actually finally went through the process this last week, the Strengths Finder process that Gallup, the polling folks, bring on. And I got the full 34 report. In fact, I'll give you guys my top 5 if you're interested. And I've got it right here in front of me on a piece of paper. So number 1 is my number 1 strength is significance. People exceptionally talented in significance theme want to make a big impact. They are independent and prioritize projects based on how much influence they will have on their organization or people around them. So that's number 1. Number 2 is restorative. People exceptionally talented in restorative themes are adept at dealing with problems. They are good at figuring out what is wrong and resolving it. I definitely like to think of myself as a problem solver. So my 3rd strength is competition. People exceptionally talented in the competition theme measure their progress against performance of others. They strive to win first place and revel in contests. So that definitely is me as well. My number 4 strength is achiever. People exceptionally talented in the achiever theme work hard and possess a great deal of stamina. They take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. And yes, being busy is definitely at the top of my list of things that I don't know, I revel in for some weird, strange reason. And I'll talk about what I've learned about all this stuff here in just a second. So my fifth strength is focus. People exceptionally talented in focus theme can take a direction, follow through, and make the corrections necessary to stay on track. They prioritize, then act. So those were my 5 strengths. And as soon as I got my report back, I immediately started looking at it, and I immediately started kind of freaking out a little bit, actually, because I was like, oh my gosh, am I an egomaniac? Am I a narcissist? And I was like, oh my goodness. So I stopped immediately because I knew I had a coaching session set up with Dan, and that's Kaleo Coaching that you see on the screen there, hopefully. And so yesterday at lunchtime, I actually spent an hour working with Dan, and it was incredible. We talked about the strengths. We talked about why they were positives, not in my mind where I was freaking out about them. He helped me with an action plan to kind of work towards using those strengths. All sorts of great just feedback and listening and feedback. And it was an hour well spent, an hour well worth the money. Certainly I could have worked through a lot of this stuff myself, read, learned, planned, soul searched, the whole nine, and got the same kind of thing out of it. But he was able to, in an hour, do what would have taken me forever, and not being sure of myself. He gave me that confidence to go, yep, these strengths are a good thing. Let's use them, and let's figure out how I can better myself by either surrounding myself with people that have opposite strengths, like my wife, and going from there. So it was the best $150 investment that I've made in a long time, and I plan on working with Dan more to continue to kind of grow in that area. So do yourself a favor, reach out to Dan through his website here, kaleocoaching.com, and just see what he can do for you. I think it's going to be a tremendous value and asset to me. And if you guys missed that show, just tune back. It was January 12th that we talked about finding your strengths. All right. So I wanted to just, again, huge thing for me yesterday, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So thanks for letting me kind of give my pitch on why working with Dan is a fantastic idea. All right, so let's start it off. Let's get back to, let's start about boosting posts. And we're talking specifically about Facebook and boosting our posts on Facebook today. And I guess starting with why, why is this important to us to boost posts? Why do we need to kind of think about it in a methodical and laid out way? And I go back to the conversation we had with Will from Red Canoe Media on the 5th of January. And he had mentioned, that paid social media is about driving traffic to your site. The SEO stuff that he was talking about definitely is a longer, slower process. You got to do the right things, and you got to give it some time to populate and get in Google's good graces and all those kinds of things, and find the keywords. And, so that's a kind of a long form where, if you needed some immediate results and immediate actions being taken, social media advertising is a way to kind of get that jump started and driving people to specific pages of your site, not just your overall site. So that's kind of the why we need to look at this, why this is important to us, because we just can't get the kind of organic reach that we used to get when social media was newer. Now the social media people like Facebook have figured out that if they just throttle everything back that we're doing, that will make us open up our wallets. Fortunately, it's still a very valuable resource. You don't have to spend a ton to get a lot of return. There's a lot of targeting, so you can get things specific. We'll get into all that. But, ultimately, our web pages, our sites are our store in the internet world. And there's 3 ways that people get to your site, and there's 3 ways that you can measure this through Google Analytics. And the first is search. And so that's the SEO stuff. That's where what we talked about with Will that day comes into play. But the comment that he made that day that stood out to me is like, the second page of Google search is where you could hide dead bodies. I mean, people don't go there. So unless you're on that first page, it's not going to happen for you just to get people there to your site. So the second way that people get to your site is direct organic. That's somebody typing in your webpage. For me, the podcast, that's you going to tworegularguys.com, or you going to aaronmontgomery.info and just typing that in directly, or some kind of thing. And then the third way that people get to your website is through referrals. And that's, links from other sites. So they're reading a blog article and it links to your site as a great place to get t-shirts or whatever. So that's the next piece. And that's where we want to talk about today. Those links from other sites. And in this sense, these are links from Facebook that we're talking about. So in Google Analytics, it actually breaks those referrals out into the different segments, and one of them being social media. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to boost posts for a specific reason and get going. So Will joining us this morning. Thanks, Will, for tuning in. Woohoo, SEO again. If you need any help at all with SEO, Will is your guy. He is the guy I turn to for any questions. I've got a nice overall view of it, but when it comes to the down and dirty details, there's nobody better than Will and Amber over there at Red Canoe Media. So it's redcanoemedia.com. Feel free to put a link in the comments there, and I'll get it up on the screen here for us. But all right, so let's start off with kind of the first place to start for boosting a social media ad. So this does require a little bit of work, and this is not necessarily required, but if your ultimate goal is to do the social media posting and the boosting on Facebook, and you want to get the most bang for your buck, the first thing you really need to do is you really need to have an active and engaged business page. You need to be able to count on those folks around you in your circle that are already customers, already fans, already part of your community. You need to be able to count on those folks to kind of give you a little more reach and kind of that Kevin Bacon scenario where how many degrees separation from them can you get out to really kind of grow things. So an active and engaged business page is, where you post stuff and then you encourage other people to comment, you encourage other people to share, you encourage other people to like, and that kind of grows organically. So that's the organic part. So if you have pretty good organic reach to start with, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck when it comes time to actually start paying for some of these boosted posts or ads. So here's Will's website. It typed out the right way without an N and with an N instead of an M like I did on our show, but it's Red Canoe, REDCANOE media.com. So SEO, get over there. Will can help you with a lot of these other things too, but he definitely is the SEO guy, and there's so much more that he can do too. So, but start there with SEO. All right, so that's kind of the first part. So going back to where we're at with Facebook here, that's the first part that we want to kind of make sure that we're thinking about as we're developing these campaigns is what's our organic reach first. That's something that we want to always be working on and always be engaging and participating and doing that stuff the right way. So if you do that well, it's going to make the rest of this that we're going to do a ton easier here. So that's first. Number two, we want to have a plan. We need to, and actually Will and I talked about this on our program on the 5th, that, just throwing it out there and see what's going to stick is a horrible way to do this. And you're basically taking your money and throwing it out there and just throwing it away, So again, throw that stuff to me or throw that stuff to Will and we'll let us take care of it. But no, what we need to have a plan. We need to kind of understand why we're doing this and have it specifically written out. So the action plan, what I'm going to talk about today is my goal. My plan is to try to get more people signed up for my email newsletter. So that's what our plan is. That's our goal. So now I've got a goal, and then I want to take that and make it into a SMART goal. And we've talked about this on Small Business Saturdays a lot. SMART meaning specific, measurable, attainable. Sorry, I got caught up. So anyhow, the SMART goal thing is, and I just totally blanked on what R, and T is trackable. Not what I'm here to talk about today, but let's say our SMART goal is this. I want to get 50 people to click on the link and turn those 50 people into 5 new subscribers by February 15th. So that's going to be my goal. So that's my what I'm shooting for. But then I also need to think about what's in it for them. Well, I mean, that's great that that's my goal, but the people that I want to do this, what's in it for them? So I have to think about that part too. I mean, why do they want to sign up for my email list? What, you know, if I'm coming and seeing this post on Facebook in front of me, what's going to attract me to do that? You know, my target audience, why do they want to get there? So for me, it's, you know, I want them to get there. And for them, what they're going to get out of it is tips, tricks, latest news, information sharing, connecting, all of those things directly in their email box once a month. You know, so I need to make sure that that is part of my message here. So that's the second part, kind of get that plan. And then here's the third part. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And the next part that you have to do is we need to have some sort of a graphic or video or some visual piece that's going to draw people to the post. You know, I know a lot of people here are fairly graphically inclined and can do really well. And I'm fairly proficient at Photoshop myself, but I always find myself going to Snappa. And there's several others. I know a lot of people use Canva, different kind of online tools. My favorite just happens to be Snappa, and for no other reason than that's what I've used. It's what I like. It's cleanest to me. You know, I actually even use their paid program because it just adds a little bit more value for me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pop this up, turn solo off there, see how that comes up. So for Snappa, here's where you want to go. And if you just go to my website, aaronmontgomery.info/Snappa, that will get you there. But this tool is to me great for what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and log into it here. And I actually created a graphic already, but I'll go to my save graphics. And here's the image. And some of you may have already seen this on my Facebook page already this morning, but you know, I was able to upload backgrounds. I can do stock backgrounds and all this other stuff. I won't go too deep into this because this is not necessarily the important part, but we just need to have something that's going to visually attract people to what we're trying to do here. All right. So there's our first part. Now, in creating that. So that's not first part. I'm sorry. There is, let's see, on my list here, that's the third thing that we're doing. So, and I'll go back and review these quickly at the end. So the fourth thing that we need to do, and we'll go back to just me here for a second here, is we need to create a call to action. And again, we talked about this with Will again, you know, so make sure you go back and review that video as well. But the call to action is what action do you want them to take? And again, what's in it for them? You know, again, for us today, it's the call to action is join our family, my little picture here with my family, so you can get tips, latest news, get information right in your email box. So that's the call to action. That's what I want them to do. I want them to sign up for my newsletter. But if you're just putting posts out there that's like, just go to my webpage, what does that do? Unless your webpage is really well designed on the front end to have a call to action, that's probably not where you want them to go. You probably need to have a specific landing page for each boosted post that you're doing that speaks to that call to action. You know, go check out Will's site at redcanoemedia.com. I mean, there's a great example of great calls to action. You know, what he wants you to do at each step where you're visiting his site. So that's number 4 here, is we need to get that call to action. All right. So now we've done 4. Step number 5. And this is where we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of Facebook a little bit more here. So bear with me one second while I get that turned back off, and let's get over to Facebook. And from Facebook here, and you can see this is my view of Facebook from my business page. We need to create an audience. Basically, we need to get who we want to see these things. And we can go about this a couple different ways, and we're just going to go real high level real quick because we could spend all day on this, and I want to be done in the next 10 to 15 minutes. My son can only hang on so long out there for me patiently. So you can still pop in, by the way, buddy. All right. 7-year-old's playing Minecraft instead. So that's fun. Jerry, thank you so much for the, yes, I hope it's helpful for you. anyways, okay, back to the audience. So we want to go to the business manager section here and hide that. And once we go to this business manager section, I want to go to all tools and I want to go to audiences, and we'll get to that. And so I want to spend some time kind of getting my audience down. And I've got lots of different stuff that I've played with and tested out and stuff like that. But basically, you're gonna get that out of the way there. I want to create some audiences first. I want to create some custom audiences, and then I can create a saved audience and stuff like that. But a custom audience can come in a couple of different forms here. What I do a lot of myself here is using spreadsheets of email addresses from different places and different ways, and do a customer file. And but we can get into all these other things. Again, don't have time to go into each one of these things in detail. But my point being is I want to have a good audience, and my audience is not just who I want to reach out to, but my audience is the other part of the audience setup that I need to do is who do I want to exclude? You know, what people do I not want to see my ad? Because and there are people that don't want to see your ad. You know, for a good example would be, I don't need my mom or my wife or, you know, your significant other. We don't need to promote to them. You know, if I need to spend money to get my mom to see what I'm doing or to have that interaction with her, then I've got bigger problems than just worrying about my Facebook post. That's kind of a joke, but the point being is that I also want to take away as many people because here's what happens when you boost a post. Every time somebody sees that, that's going to cost you money. And if that person seeing it is not going to get you to your goal, then you are going to spend unnecessarily. So actually getting your exclude list is almost more important than your include list. I'll with Facebook posts specifically, but maybe in general, good thing, a reminder for me is that less is more here. Facebook is not going to give you your money back if you don't reach your goal. So if we start small and then expand small from there, that's the way that we have a chance of spending the right amount of money to reach our goals. It isn't going and throwing a ton of money at this thing and then working your way backwards from there. It just doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, Facebook's not going to give you your money back. I don't know if you've ever tried, Will, to get your money back for something that didn't work out, but I have not been able to do it. So, there's the next part is we need to kind of create that audience. So that's number 5. And then the next piece that we need to do here is we also then need to figure out the best time to boost that post. When are we going to have the best chance of success? When are we going to have the most opportunity for our fans to find it? And here's what I do. And there's probably several different ways to go about this, but here's what I do. So I get to my business page here, and you should have all this information at the top, and I go to insights. Okay. And then from the insights, I go to posts. So if I'm boosting a post, I want to go to post. And this gives me some great information. Now here for mine, it's pretty kind of even across the board. And it may be for your page too. Oh, Jerry just posted something. Good job, Jerry. Hopefully it's about this. No, anyways. So this is great data right here. Now I want to go and dig into the details here too, but this is actually really good data to give me an idea. So for me, the most fans are online on a Wednesday. Now, again, it's not very, there's a lot on Sunday, Friday, Saturday. So there's not much difference here. But if I'm going to pick out the highest, it's a Wednesday. And see, when I put my cursor over the top of that, then it also breaks it down by time. So I have the least amount of fans online at 3 a.m. I have the most amount of fans online at about 8 p.m. But when I go to Wednesday, it actually gives me just for Wednesday. So for Wednesday, it's actually 3 p.m. Or 4 p.m. here. So again, when I go to Wednesday, I can see 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. is the best times. So that's when I actually want to try to time this out, is to have this post start on a Wednesday later in the day, maybe by noon. Okay, so that's the next piece. So I've now picked my audience. I've found the best time, and now it's time to just kind of dive in. So let's go back to where we're at here, and one more back to to this page. So now we're going to boost the post. I mean, are we ready? Is everybody excited? Okay. So here we go. So I want to go down to that post that I made, and post got my call to action, join our family. That's the call to action. That's what I want you to do. I want you to sign up for the monthly email where we share tips, the latest news, links to things that helped us, and more. And then click right there. Okay. So it's already been getting a little organic reach. So that's awesome. I appreciate all that. And then I'm going to click on boost post. All right. There's different things that you can do. I test and just try all these things, kind of what our objective is, and get more engagement. I can change that to get more messages. That means more people reaching out to me on Messenger, or whatever. But most often, if we're trying to get them off of Facebook to our site, we want more engagement. And we can add a button to it, if it's a shop now or book an appointment, sign up. So maybe, we'll do a sign up button here, and then make sure it's going to the right place. So get connected is the button, so they can actually click it to sign up. Perfect. And then now here's where we create our audience. People you choose through targeting. I can, kind of pick out some of those things. And this is where I want to get in and edit, and I can use I can exclude people. So I pull up that list. That's an exclusion list, and do some of that stuff, or exclude different demographics and things like that. And then where's my saved audiences here? And Facebook just moved all of this stuff on me. So maybe it didn't get populated into the business page here yet, but that's where, okay, so, great. And we're going to leave that on. Oh, come on. All right, where are my saved? So I'll come back and get to that. Fail, but that's okay. We're going to learn. That's an opportunity to learn. So, but we can do our targeting here. Again, I want to just kind of target this down to people who like your page and their friends, and then I can go a little bit further and edit that. Okay, I don't want to just do Missouri. I do want to enter United States. Here we go. So the whole of the United States, that's going to be a little bit bigger. Let's see, what else do I want to add here? And I've already got done that. And then I'm going to set my budget. They suggest $20. I may just start with 10. This is really not something and then I want to set the duration for a pretty short amount of time. And now there may be reasons why to do it a little bit longer, but the duration I want is 1 day. And I'm going to do this, like we talked about, on Wednesday. So that's going to be the best time to post that for me. Everything's there. And there I go. I'm boosting my post. So we will get back and I will, I'm going to have to enter all. See, it didn't transfer all this stuff. Thanks, Facebook. I'll get that all put in there. If you guys run into anything along the way and do have specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. All right, so that's 6. We created our boosted post. And then the 8th thing that we want to do is we want to go and continue to refine the audiences. We want to use the tools available in the audiences, like lookalikes. And what a lookalike audience is, so let's say I've got my customer list in there. Well, Facebook then is going to take that customer list and create a lookalike. It's going to go out and use its algorithms to find people that are similar to the people that are your fans or your customers or whoever's in that list. And so maybe they're going to have similar interests and different things. But their goal is to make you successful within their platform, because then you'll come back and do this more. So use their tools. They have some good tools. They have some good data. And basically, as long as it does better each time, then keep going until you reach that goal. All right. So that should get you off and running with a nice general overview of what's going on there. And I don't know, what questions you have, what things. Obviously, I stumbled there at the end because of some of the Facebook's changed over to this business manager thing, and I haven't spent enough time in it lately to get there. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. Maybe we'll come back with another video, but like I said, if you have anything that I can help you with, reach out to me, and we can go from there. And there we go. So there's my webpage scrolling across the bottom, hopefully. And there is my email address, aaron@montcoconsulting.com. So reach out to me. And last but not least, if my goal is to get you to sign up for my email, then I would be remiss if I didn't say go to aaronmontgomery.info/get-connected and sign up for that email. It's on my list of something that I'm going to do here soon, hopefully within the next week. So that'll be the next batch that goes out. Once you've signed up, you'll actually also then have access to all of the past episodes, issues as well. So great stuff there. All right. Next week, tuning in. Hello, your pop-in chance is almost over. He's got Minecraft happening. I told him he could come be on the video real quick. So let's see if he comes over. Oh, he's got a Superman shirt on today. Next week, I'm going to be talking about knowing what business metrics to measure. This is a question that came to me from A&E Magazine, so I really appreciate the topic suggestion. We're going to do it as a video and then turn it into some text that they're going to put out in their newsletter, their email newsletters that they have out. The pop-in guy is crawling in now, so I'll scoot over here a little bit. And if you guys could comment or share with me through either my email address or wherever you want to reach out to me here on Facebook in the comments here. There's my bunny ears from the pop-in. You want to say anything? No, he's a mute. All right. So if you guys want to comment and tell me what metrics you guys measure religiously, that would be great. I would love to have your feedback, and I will share that information, and you will get credit for it and get more eyeballs on your website because we'll make sure that those links are in the email that goes out to the folks at A&E. So thank you, sir. Lou, you done with the rabbit ears? You want to actually add anything? Did I miss anything? He doesn't think so. All right. Did I miss anything, guys? That's Jerry. That's a fantastic question. Is it possible to remove or cancel unused Facebook business pages that I no longer use, but they pop up at times, ones I created? I believe there's a way to do that. I've not done that myself yet, but you know what? I'm going to find out and I'll let you know. So how's that? Does that work for you, Jerry? So yeah, stay tuned. I'll shoot you an email or something when I find out some more information about that. Will, if you have any ideas about that, if you're still tuned in here, let me know. But yeah, okay, cool. Anything else, guys? Hi, buddy. All right, this is Lewis, by the way, if you guys haven't met him yet. Big part of my why, right, buddy? All right, thank you guys. You guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks for tuning in.